And I want to welcome you to this Facebook Live. We have done a series of Facebook Lives over the summer and over the past few months as we're trying to provide you as much information as we can to help prepare you for the opening of our fall semester, which is the first classes start on the 17th. So we're getting closer and closer. We're about 2 weeks away. And today our focus is going to be on academics, academic affairs, and also our auxiliary services. So with me today, I want to introduce to you, first of all, Dr. Tim Todd. Dr. Todd is our Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. And also Mr. David Looney, who's our Executive Director of Auxiliary Services, which includes housing, dining, the University Bookstore, as well as our racer ID cards. So in just a minute, I'm going to kind of turn things over to them and they'll give a couple of opening remarks. And then obviously, most of our time, we want to leave for you to ask us questions. So we want to make sure we're answering the questions that you have. But I wanted to give you just a little information about what's been going on. We've been working since March in preparing for parents, for your student to arrive on campus. For students, we're eagerly looking forward to you returning. And we continue to make these plans and we continue to work on a successful fall semester. So I want to encourage you to, again, to visit our Murray State EDU Racer Restart Plan. This is a document of about 25 pages. We've had over 250 faculty, staff, and students developing this Racer Restart Plan, and it gives you all the information about the things that we have in place to make sure that we have a successful semester. Students, we've also created a special web page just for you that provides you with helpful information from everything regarding housing, dining, campus life, academics, all the kind of questions that we've been hearing from you as students that you needed answers to. Again, go to that website and that will provide you with a lot of helpful information also. Also, students, we have now, if you go to your Canvas training, if you go to your MyGate account, we have our Racer Safe and Healthy modules are now open. This is a training program. This is required of all of our students as well as our faculty and staff to make sure you know the information that you need to know before you arrive on campus to start the semester. And students, the deadline to complete this training is on August 17th. And then lastly, I want to remind you of our, to make sure that students, you complete the Racer Safe and Healthy checklist. You access that through your MyGate account, and all of our students, you're to fill that out before you arrive on campus, and that provides us with information so we can better prepare for your arrival on campus. And actually, this is a form that we're asking all the students to fill out the first of every month. So again, that's just some quick information that you will need as you're getting ready for the fall semester. So while you're thinking of questions that you want to ask, I want to show you a short video that features some of our students that will talk about some of our health and safety guidelines that we have in place to make sure we have a safe and productive fall semester.
Fellow racers, navigating this new norm due to the COVID-19 pandemic can be difficult and challenging.
COVID-19 is a serious situation that can have a long-term impact on our world, country, and Murray State University.
During these times, this is when Racer Nation truly comes together in order to be safe, healthy, and successful.
It is important that we each do our part.
Be sure to follow the 12 Racer Safe and Healthy guidelines, regularly washing hands for at least 20 seconds, and use hand sanitizer frequently.
Check your temperature daily. If you feel sick, stay home.
Wear a mask, mask up, shoes up. Utilize Murray State Health Services. Call, visit, or televisit.
Practice social distancing. Keep your workstation, room sanitized.
Get a flu shot. Exhibit healthy behavior.
Download the Apple COVID-19 app for daily use. Eat well, exercise, get plenty of rest.
Make good choices. Whether we're in the classroom, the wellness center,
Waterfield Library, the Curtis Center, Winslow,
or heading to and from classes, we have a responsibility to do our part for each of us, our Racer family, and our community.
Visit murraystate.edu/racerrestart for important Racer safe and healthy updates, resources, and tips.
be a racer, protecting racers.
we are forward moving.
We are family.
We are racers.
Very good. So again, that's our the guidelines that we have in place, and we're really pleased with that video, and want to thank all of our students for their participation in creating that video. So right now then, I want to turn this over to Dr. Tim Todd, who's, again, as I said, is our Provost, Vice President for Academic Affairs, and he has some opening comments about what you can expect in the classrooms when you return to campus this fall.
Thank you, Dr. Robertson, and again, welcome everybody to this Facebook Live session. I cannot overemphasize enough, going all the way back to spring break, as what Dr. Robertson alluded to, faculty and staff here have been preparing for months, from literally across all corners of campus, for a safe and a healthy fall semester. We're all pledged to that, but the last point in the video that you just saw, making good choices, there's a lot of responsibility on everybody to make good choices. So that's the one of those 12, all 12 are important, but I wanted to take just a second to re-emphasize that particular one, because to me that one wraps up a lot of the previous 11, making good choices. One of my favorite quotes is from a good friend of mine, and that quote is, "People go where they know they are prepared for and are cared for." And the faculty and staff at Murray State, like I said, over the last several months have been preparing for you and your return in the fall, because we all care about you. We care about your education, we care about your future, we care about one another in making good choices. So with that said, there's a lot of care that's gone into preparations for the fall. My role tonight, I think, is to talk a little bit about academics, what to expect. And I really wanted to emphasize, before we get into the Q&A, on some things that you may not know have occurred. And one of those very important things is some additional language on all syllabi in all courses across all disciplines. That language is about 2.5 pages, and that's been vetted for the last several weeks through the Provost's office, through the Dean's Council, through the Chair's Council, through the Academic Restart team, through the President's office and the President's Executive Council, and that has been distributed as of last week to all faculty, along with a little note. In fact, I used that same quote, "People go where they know they are prepared for and are cared for," when we sent that to the faculty. And I wanted to highlight just a few of the things that you're going to see in the new syllabus language, in addition to all of the things, no matter what course it is that you're taking, all the things that are course specific. These are some sections that we've emphasized and that we have added. One of those sections talks about the making up of a few hours. As all of you know, we're cutting the semester a little shorter than a normal fall semester, and technically for a 3-hour class, which is what most of our classes are, we have to make up a total of 6 hours of work. The students have to make up a total of 6 hours of work for a 3-hour class. For a 4-hour class, they have to make up a total of 8 hours. And for a 1-hour class, they have to make up a total of 2. So all of that is going to be spelled out in your syllabus, and it's up to the faculty to decide the instructional model, the delivery of what that 6 hours means for a 3-hour class, what the 8 hours mean for a 4-hour class, and what the 2 hours mean for a 1-hour class. But all of that will be shared with you based on the faculty and their expertise in making that up. That's important from the standpoint of our regional accrediting agency, the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges. So that's what one of those sections in your syllabi will be, an enhanced version of making up those hours. We've included another section of the student face covering and mask policy, and that's come right out of the Racer Restart plan that Dr. Robertson talked about. In addition to that, We've expanded on the counseling resources on campus with individuals identified, emails, phone numbers, all of those kinds of things, 24-hour crisis hotline, all kinds of things. We just wanted to spell that out for all of our students, again, and for every syllabus in every class. We also have expanded on the services for students with disabilities. That office is led by Ken Ashlock. He does a great job, and there are more specific instructions, if you will, more specific narrative on what that office does, and that's going to be in your syllabi as well. We have a class attendance policy, and basically going into this fall, everybody, back to good choices, we all are going to have to be flexible. The faculty understand that, the staff understand that, and the students need to understand that. But that doesn't mean we need to try to take advantage of the situation, obviously. So there's a little bit of attendance language that's in the syllabus that you're going to see, which is just a little different than normal. And the real focus there is just for students, again, making good choices, taking responsibility, letting your instructors know if you are having trouble, and the instructor, the faculty, again, they care about you. They want to do everything they can to make sure you're as successful as you can be. And finally, the last section are the 12 guidelines of Racer Safe and Healthy and the Restart guidelines. So those 12 are just going to be spoon-fed out inside this syllabus. You're going to see that when you get back to campus on all kinds of posters. It's going to be everywhere. So, but you can't over-communicate. So those are the kinds of things that will be reflected in the new syllabus language. And finally, on that, as we turn it over to Mr. Looney, the faculty were asked to put that in, make those changes, get those implemented into all of the syllabi, and then to actually send those syllabi to you, to the students, along with a personal message of encouragement, a personal message of a little bit of how delivery is going to work in this faculty member's class or laboratory. So faculty are going to reach out to you, and those kinds of things are in process and happening right now. Some of you have already received some information from faculty. Faculty are still working on implementing those things and then communicating that out to their students. So make good choices. We're looking forward to having you back on campus. We can't wait. It's been a lonely campus for about 3 months, and we want to do our best to create a safe and a healthy campus experience for everybody going into the fall semester, and we're committed to do that.
Very good. Thank you, Dr. Todd. And now Mr. Looney will talk to you a little bit about auxiliary services, and then we'll move on to questions.
Yeah. As you heard already, we have spent a lot of time over the last several months learning how to conduct our business in new ways. And foremost with on our minds are about helping students make good choices and making them aware of ways to make good choices. So as Dean Todd, you heard from Dean Todd about signage. We have really gone through our facilities and put a lot of signage out there to remind students on a daily basis when they wake up in the morning, as they're walking out of the residential halls and heading off to class or heading off to get some breakfast, they're going to be reminded on a daily basis. And that's our ask, is to remind them about the good choices to make throughout the day. So you're going to see a lot of things, but I'll start off with housing. Housing assignments are out. Hopefully, if you're living on campus, you've been to MyGate and you've seen your housing assignments, and your roommates are all posted in there. And this year, we're planning to do our move-in a little differently. We have a scheduled appointment process for move-in, and you're allowed a 2-hour window of time to move in. And you should have received information by now about how to schedule your appointment. But if you haven't, please, again, go to MyGate, look at your housing application, and you'll be able to see appointment selection opportunities to sign up for your move-in time. You will be allowed a 2-hour window of time to move in. You will be allowed to have 2 guests with you. And again, like we talked about good choices, we want to make sure that you and your guests that help you move in remain with your face masks at all times when you're in the buildings to help protect those around you. And we'll have signage there to help remind you about that. But you'll arrive, you'll check in at the front desk. You'll be able to, you and two of your family members that are with you, that are helping you move in, will be able to go up and help get settled in the room. And we're going to ask that you take only 2 hours, and by the end of that 2 hours, we're going to ask that you finish up the process and exit the building so that another family has an opportunity to come in and do that. And if we all do that cooperatively, we have a schedule that allow us to allow us to successfully move in everybody over that 1 week period of time. So we're looking forward to doing that. As your last step of move-in, you will be receiving your new racer card. So we have a brand new racer card designed this year. There's a couple things done with it. Number one, it provides some really important new information on the back of the card, contact information that could be really useful for students at times. And so you'll see that on the card, as well as the redesign allowed technology so that you no longer have to hand the card to the cashier when you're going into the dining hall or going into the library. You can just scan the card. The student can hold the card there and conduct their dining transaction without having to hand the card back and forth. So again, some extra safety things that we have going on there. If you're living on campus, you'll receive that card when you check into your resident hall. If you're a commuter student, you will receive that card beginning on the 10th. We're going to have a pickup position located in Blackburn Hall. And you'll see a lot of signs around campus heading up to that. You'll get an email here in a few days about that process. So you'll be able to come by and pick up your card then. So it'll be great. We did send out some emails about submitting photos. If you haven't submitted a photo yet, then you do have an opportunity. If you can't find the email, send us a note to the Racer Card office. You can find the email address on our website. Send us a note and let us know you didn't get that email, and we'll send out a new copy to you so you can respond to that. So that'd be a great thing. We talked about the card and some new ways that it helps in the dining program. So that's just one of the small changes we made in the dining program, was removing that from handing back and forth to the cashiers. But we are excited to say that even with all the challenges we've had, we still got Steak and Shake on its way. We've got Chick-fil-A back up and running. We had anticipated opening Starbucks back in March, and it is still ready to go, and it will be opening very soon. It'll be ready for you when you get back to campus. We also have a Tres Habaneros Mexican concept, as well as a sub-connection, so a complete remodel of the Curris Center tea room space, as well as the other facilities that we have going on there. And we're excited about bringing those to campus. Einstein Brothers is still going to be here, and the College of Business Cafe. All of those facilities will be open, and they will be open with new social distancing guidelines. As you know, we have some limited seating, so we've made those adjustments. And you will see some new ways to queue and stand in line to keep everybody safe. And we ask you to make good choices and follow those directions. And that'll help everybody along. One of the things that we're adding that we're really excited about is with the dining facilities, understanding that those lines, as they extend longer, can be challenging, is we're actually bringing a partnership with Grubhub to campus. So starting this fall, there'll be an opportunity with Grubhub where you can actually order ahead and then just come and pick up your order. And there'll be special tables that will be set up where you'll be able to come and just pick up your order, and you'll be able to get in and out really quickly. And we will have Grubhub services at all of our locations on campus, with the exception of Winslow. In Winslow, we're going to do it a little differently. We're using the Byte app, which is part of Sodexo, our dining contractor. And the Byte app will actually allow you to order entrees out of Winslow the same way and apply it to your meal plan, and then be able to come and just pick up your to-go order, so you'll be able to, again, get in and get out quickly. Understanding the limited seating, we've done a lot of things around campus to provide additional seating for you. Some additional picnic tables outside, some additional seating inside the residential hall areas, and we've got a new project going online that we're looking at bringing some additional seating and covered seating and air conditioning seating that we think will be exciting. We encourage you to look forward to. So things will look a little different when you get here, but we are the same folks at Murray State providing the same great services to you. Aside from dining, Bookstore, the best thing you can do related to textbooks is order ahead the textbooks. We have a prepackaged program that allows you to place your order. We'll pull the books for you, put them in a box. When you come to campus, it's just real quick. You just go and grab the box. You can go through it and say, you know, if you don't want everything in there, you can pull things out and return them back. But it's a quick and easy way to come in and pick up all your textbooks. And we have that service available, as well as doing online orders. So we've been doing a lot of things on campus, understanding the challenges that are faced in front of us, making it safe for everybody, safe for our employees, safe for the students, and most importantly, as Dean Todd said, is reminding you about the ways that you can make good choices, because really, as much as we can do, it's really up to you for that success in keeping everybody safe and healthy.
Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you. So again, lots of exciting things taking place, lots of changes, and again, as you've heard, all this is for us to keep things as safe and to make sure you have a very, very positive experience when you return to campus. So with that, now we want to kind of hear from you, and we want to answer your questions. So we'll spend a little time answering the questions that you've called in with.
Okay, we've received quite a few questions so far, a couple on the academic side for Provost Todd. Can you talk a little bit about professors' office hours, how they're going to be handling the tutoring and advising with students, and how they're going to be offering, virtual versions of that as well?
Sure, absolutely. The professors are, we're going to have office hours. Some are going to be in person. We're going to have office hours that are virtual. We're going to have office hours that are on the phone. When a student needs to get in touch with the professor, particularly the advisor, there are going to be posted office hours for all faculty that serve in those roles, and that's all faculty. So there will not be any issue with regard to getting in touch with your professors or getting in touch with your advisors. That's some of the language and some of the communication that's ongoing right now, that's going out with the new syllabi language and the new just the syllabi for all courses. So I guess the short answer is students should not worry about that at all. It is going to be a little different, just like the entire fall semester is going to be a little different. More information will be coming out. The Racer Restart page will have some of that on it, but just like the making good choices as a theme, stay in touch with your faculty members. Stay in touch with your academic advisors and keep those relationships fluid and keep them nurtured and keep them frequent, because we all need to depend on each other going into the fall, and we will have a successful fall if we can do that.
Yeah, I think, Dr. Todd, the one thing, there will be a lot of changes, but the one thing that will not change is our focus on personalizing services, staying in touch with students, being accessible. So you're going to find the faculty, you're going to find the staff, you're going to find all the folks that you're used to working with. Again, they're going to be accessible, because that's kind of a hallmark of Murray State University, that hands-on personal approach.
Absolutely.
Through our Racer Restart plan, we've obviously taken into consideration the capacity levels for all of the different rooms and areas on campus. How will those be monitored throughout the semester? Will there be designations showing what those capacities are to make sure that social distancing is enforced or monitored throughout the semester?
Sure, I'll take a stab at that one first. And we've been working very closely. Academic Affairs has been working very closely with facilities management, Jason Youngblood, Angela Lampy, and others, Rick Grogan, to do just that. So classrooms and laboratories have been spaced apart. Signage is going to be in every one of them. It already exists. Capacity numbers are there. The calculations for all of our labs and classrooms have been ongoing throughout the summer. So all of that has occurred. A little bit of it is still getting finalized. We're still, about 2 weeks out, but students will see all of that with signage as they come back to campus.
Yes, and not only in the classrooms, but you'll find it like in the Career Center, the Student Center, all those rooms have the occupancy and the capacity, over in the Wellness Center. So all the other offices and areas that you're going to be utilizing, it'll be very clearly marked, the numbers, how many can be in at one time. We've even identified capacity for some of our outdoor space, Springer Field, Woods Park, that sort of thing. So again, to help students and faculty and staff understand the importance of that social distancing and staying within our limits.
Obviously, students are very aware and very cautious of their safety and health when they're coming back to campus, as are their families. And if someone is in a course currently that is an in-person course, do they have the opportunity to change to an online course or a hybrid course throughout the semester if they feel they need to, or do they remain in their course their course type that they signed up for the entire semester?
Sure. I think that comes back to flexibility. The faculty and the staff are committed to having that flexibility. Things will change, things will happen. Virtually every class is going to have some type of component that allows a student to come into it remotely. So those kinds of things will exist. They have existed for the summer. The vast majority of students are showing us that they want to come back and have an in-person experience, but we still have a fair number that don't want that and want to have a remote experience. So we're doing our best to try to cater to that. Again, I cannot overemphasize just staying in touch with particularly your advisor on that going into the fall semester. Once we get the fall going, it's really up to the students to just maintain close contact with the faculty members in the courses. But we will do everything that we can in a very flexible environment to make sure we have the best fall that we can.
Mr. Looney, you mentioned when you were speaking earlier about the move-in process and signing up for designated move-in slots so that we can make sure that everyone is social distancing properly and everyone has adequate amount of time to move into their residence halls. Once they're moved into their halls on whatever date their sign-up date is, are they then allowed to go ahead and stay in those halls at that point forward? Obviously, once their families or whoever is with them leave.
Yes. So once they do move in, they are moved in, and they're here, and they are our residents, and they will be living in those buildings. Again, thinking about good choices, we want to remind them that there are other people joining the building, and be aware of that, and cooperate with us on helping keeping the elevators free and clear. And Dr. R, I don't know if you'd want to try to respond with programming efforts that you have going on that week also.
Right. There will be, not only once students are moved in, we're also going to have a lot of programming going on during the week, because obviously individuals will start arriving starting on Monday all the way through Saturday. And some of the program will be geared towards our new students. Some of it will be geared towards returning students, and some of the program would be available. It really wouldn't matter whether you're a new student or a returning student. So once you're in, we want to make sure we have things for you to do on campus. And so we're busily planning that schedule of activities, and of course all the new students will receive a Great Beginnings leader, and that's kind of an upper class mentor that you'll be in a group and they'll work with you and show you how to get around on campus and make sure you know about the activities and programs that are going on. But there'll be a lot of activities, a lot of playing, a lot of programming going on to keep you occupied until classes start on the 17th.
Within each of the residential colleges, we have our residence directors and residence advisors, and they're going through specific training as well on an individual basis to assist with monitoring social distancing and hygiene and PPE within each of the residential colleges. Outside of that, if someone has a room with a roommate, or even if they have a private room, are there restrictions that are happening so that they can have visitors in their rooms, or they cannot have visitors in their rooms outside of whoever is the actual person living within each of the residence rooms?
Right. We do have a visitation policy, and it's being adjusted a bit for this fall semester. So we're going to limit visitors to only Murray State students. So if you live in a residence hall, you can have visitors, but they need to be students. We're going to limit the number to one guest per student at a time. And again, we're doing that for safety reasons, and we're going to start off with that policy, and then we're going to see how things go, and it could be, we could make changes during the semester. But there will be the opportunity to have visitation and for individuals to visit, and of course when they come into our residence halls to visit, the expectation is going to be that they will follow the guidelines, the policies, they'll be wearing their mask, etc. So that, and it'll be the responsibility of that resident to make sure they're with that visitor at all times.
And are there any restrictions that will be occurring if a student were to leave campus and travel home or visit somewhere else outside of the Murray area? If they were to go and then come back, are there any processes that have to occur in order for them to come back to their residence hall?
Really, there is, again, the checklist. We're asking students to fill that out, particularly the first of every month. And then, again, make good choices depending on where they've gone and where they have visited. We would ask that they potentially might want to fill that out also when they come back to the campus. But there's not a restriction that says you can't leave campus, you can't go home, you can't go visit individuals in another location. But again, we want to make sure that students are conscious of where they're going. There are certain, obviously, hot spots in the nation right now that probably is not the best idea to go visit those places, but it will be kind of up to the student to regulate that.
We obviously have a lot of exciting dining things happening on campus right now and a lot of great things to come. You mentioned the partnership with Grubhub. Are students able to use their flex dollars with that option as well? Can you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. They'll be able to use their flex and also the meal plan component of it. We have the meal exchange program. We'll be able to continue using the meal exchange. And then the Grubhub will also take flex, as well as the Bite app will be their meal plan will be available through that, and flex also.
Can you speak a little bit to, obviously social distancing is going to need to occur within Winslow Cafeteria Dining Hall, as well as some of the other restaurants on campus. Are there going to be additional spaces set up for students to eat outside or in other areas to where they can social distance even further?
Yes, and we spent a lot of time, a really lot amount of time understanding the seating capacities, and those rules kind of change week in and week out. We get different things thrown at us, and we've learned to become flexible. But at this point in time, we are making sure that we do everything that's aligned with what the governor has laid out for our social distancing and our seating within restaurant facilities. So there is limited seating there. We have added probably up to 20, 25 picnic tables outside space. We've added additional seating in each of the residential halls for folks that are living there. We've taken basically every public space within the Curris Center that we could and added some seating in there. And every nook and cranny that I could find. And I'll tell you, Dean Todd and I kind of fight because he's got classroom space he needs and I've got dining space that I need, and we're all looking for spaces. And we are making sure that we are being very efficient with our space here on campus. And I met this morning with some folks to talk about bringing a large tent to campus that will be air conditioned. It'll be a different experience, but it'll be a neat place that'll be a great climate controlled area right outside Winslow. So the folks that do come in Winslow and there's not enough seating, they'll just be able to be 10 yards away into a tent there for some seating there.
Yeah, and I think the students are really going to enjoy, David, all those picnic tables and those options and the variety of places they can eat. So it'll be different, but I think it's going to be exciting. I think they're going to enjoy these new opportunities and these new places that aren't typically available to dine in. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Obviously, the move-in experience is going to be slightly different this year because we have a streamlined process as far as the amount of people and the times that people can move in. But a very important question I'm sure that some people might have on their minds is, are there any types of carts or vehicles that you can use to help with your move-in?
Yeah, so for those folks that have been through move-in before, we've always had shopping carts available. Those shopping carts will still be available. You can check them out at the front desk. And then we have wipes and sanitizing sprays and stuff that we will clean those down between use by different folks. So the same things. If you do have a hand cart, it would be really helpful if you bring your hand cart with you to help you move in. There are quite a few shopping carts available, but there's not enough for everybody all the time. So if you do have something like a hand cart, go ahead and bring that with you and use that.
Would you have any other pointers for a first-time student coming to campus as far as their move-in process, and any other tips or tricks that they might need to consider when they're bringing everything to campus to move in that day?
Sure. This really is, we talk about it being a change. This is really a big change to Murray State. Move-in day has always been just a very festive, engaged process. We would have faculty and staff there at the residential halls helping students move in. And unfortunately, with what we're dealing with today, we can't do that to the same extreme. And we're all really saddened over that process because it really was such a part of who Murray State is as a community. And we've done everything we can to help keep the sense of family, because I think when students choose Murray State, that's probably the number one that comes to mind is, I feel like it's part of my family here. And they choose to come here. And we wanted to try to do everything that we could to help preserve that. It's saddening that we probably won't be able to have as much engagement with faculty staff just because the social distancing requirements there, not because they don't want to participate, it's because we have to limit the number of people to keep everybody safe. But what I would suggest for you to do would be take a look at the housing website. There's a great list there of what to bring, what not to bring. It'll help you understand what can happen there. Try not to overload everything. Remember that those dorm rooms aren't as large as some of the rooms that people think they are, and it's fun to see sometimes people pull up with great big U-Hauls, and we're thinking, I'm not sure they're going to get all that into that space. But if you go to the housing website, you'll be able to see the dimensions of the rooms. You'll be able to get an idea of the measurements. And remember, if you're sharing a room with somebody else, there's other personal belongings that are in there. So pack according to the list there. And remember that you'll have 2 hours to move things into your room. And your family members will be able to help you, but there won't be a team of people, as you've seen in the past, to help you get things moved in.
Yeah, that's good advice, because again, the tendency is you want to try to bring everything you have, and you certainly don't need to do that. And the other piece of advice I would give you is touch base with your roommate. If you're going to have a roommate, touch base with them and talk about who's going to bring what, because you don't need two of everything. And again, that way you can maximize your space.
Will there still be opportunities for student employment on campus this semester?
Yes, and I'll start with that, and then of course Mr. Looney has lots of employment opportunities through the dining operation. But one of the things that we did not want to change was the opportunities for students who need jobs on campus to have those opportunities. So there's a lot of student jobs available in the dining area, in the housing, the wellness center, and the academic departments all over campus. So yes, there's still plenty of opportunities for those students that are looking for employment. And I think, David, certainly within the dining area, you have all kinds of options available.
We do, and student employment is absolutely critical to us. We don't necessarily look at it as student employment. We think that's part of their education process. And that's part of what auxiliaries brings, I think, in the learning process of the student going through higher education. Part of that is holding a job and being responsible. And we want to participate that way. And there's nothing better than working at a place, when you live a few steps away, having a job there that's convenient for you, and then your studies and everything's right there together. It's great and convenient.
And we have, if you're looking for jobs, one place you can go is to the career services, and you can go to their website, and they have a listing of a lot of the part-time jobs that are available on campus, as well as the various locations. And certainly, again, dining has a lot of those jobs, housing has a lot of those positions, and even the wellness center.
Right. And the dining jobs are through the Racer Dining website. If they go to the Racer Dining website, you'll see it. So a barista at Starbucks,
yes.
Which is a fun job to have. You can get those jobs through the dining website.
Yeah.
When students are moving in on their check-in day during their time period, do they go straight to their residential hall, or do they need to report someone else first to check in that day?
Yeah. So on their appointed time, again, they should have gone to the MyGate account, and you can select your move-in time. You would arrive at the residential hall where you live. So take a look at the map online if you're not familiar with where they are. But you'll pull right up to the front door. There'll be a desk set up there, and you would check in then with the team that's there to help you check in, and they'll have all the information to help you. The one thing to make sure that you do before you get here is fill out your emergency contact information. That has been moved online. Again, we're trying to make things safe for folks. So that form has been moved online. And we're going to ask that you complete that before you just stop to check in. If you arrive at the check-in table and you haven't completed that yet, we're going to ask you to step back and go ahead and complete that before you get to the next phase. Your scheduled time is a 2-hour window. If you arrive more than an hour late for your 2-hour window, we're probably going to try to work with you at rescheduling another time during the day to make sure, because you probably won't have enough time in a 1-hour window to get in, get everything set, and have your folks that are helping you finish up and leave. And so we'll work with you and still trying to get you in that same day. So arrive on time. Best thing I tell you, arrive on time, straight to your hall, and we got you covered.
Provost Todd, I know that you mentioned early on in this Facebook Live about the shortened semester time frame and the process of how those students might be accounting for those hours that are missing from that schedule. Can you talk a little bit about that again and just revisit that? We've had several questions come through on how that time frame is actually going to work and how they're going to be making up those additional hours that are needed.
Sure. And from a student perspective, a student should not worry about that at all. That's going to be put in the syllabus, directed to the student by the faculty member, and we're not talking about a lot of time. We're not talking about a lot of activity or a lot of time. I'll give you an example. There's going to be opportunities for making up some of that time with outside lectures, outside readings, perhaps a small paper based on an outside reading that will make up 4 of the 6 hours, and then the other 2, perhaps another kind of video presentation by someone that is in the discipline of the class being taught, but may not be the professor him or herself. So there's going to be all kinds of ways that professors are experts in their field, and they're also quite creative. So all of that is being developed and designed right now. From a student perspective, please don't worry about that. The professors will guide you through all of that, and that process will be very specific and put forth to the students through the syllabus and interactions with the profs.
And Dr. Todd, you may want to remind the audience again of the academic calendar this year, this fall semester.
Sure. From an academic calendar, and thank you, Dr. Robertson, that's a very good question. From an academic calendar, and again, it's all on the Racer Restart page, so making good choices and staying in touch, particularly with that information piece through Sean Tooney and Marketing and Communications of the university. Our academic calendar, we're going to begin on Monday, August 17th, instead of Tuesday the 18th. So Monday, August 17th, we will start. That's 2 weeks from today. The university will hold 2 classes on the dates normally scheduled as fall break, and that's Thursday and Friday, October 8th and 9th. So we will have classes on October 8th and 9th. We will finalize instruction on November 20th. That's a Friday. So at the end of the day on Friday, November 20th, the classroom activities, that will be finalized. Students with internships, clinicals, practicum, and other experiential learning may proceed with completion of those through the end of the fall semester, and that actually goes all the way to December 11th. Okay, so for those kind of classes, you're going to have some more time post-Thanksgiving. We're going to have a finals week of 3 days, Wednesday through Friday, November 18th through the 20th. With an additional 3:30 and 6 o'clock p.m. examination slot on each of those days. We're hoping that we will be able to have a commencement activity, and that is now tentatively set for Saturday, November 21st. if allowable. We all are going into a fall semester with a lot of questions still, so we're just going to have to monitor that. But that tentatively is the date for the fall semester. In addition to that, students are going to have an opportunity to advance their academic goals by taking a course remotely through what we are calling our holiday term, and that's going to begin on Monday, November 23rd and ending on Friday, December 11th. So students may enroll in a maximum of one course in this holiday term, just one course because there's not a lot of time there. And then the traditional winter term, which is an online only, will begin on Monday, December 14th and end on Wednesday, January 6th. And currently the spring semester is set to start on Monday, January 11th. So that's the fall calendar.
Good, thank you.
And I think that's a great place to wrap up on right there, actually. Dr. Robertson, would you like to say a few words just in closing and what students need to make sure they do before they come to campus as far as the checklist?
Thank you, yes. And again, I want to thank Provost Todd and Mr. Looney for joining us today, and very valuable information. And so just a couple of closing points, students. Again, I just want to reiterate that we are certainly looking forward to your arrival. We're excited about starting this fall semester. We have missed you on our campus. We've missed our students. We want this to be a very positive and safe experience for everyone, so we all need to do our part to make sure we have a very safe and healthy semester. So that's the first thing. I encourage you to continue to make sure you look at our Racer Restart Plan. It can answer virtually every question you would have, and certainly want you to be very, very familiar with that. But anytime you have a question and you don't know the answer to, please feel free to contact us. You can always contact the Office of Student Affairs. You could contact me at drobertson@murraystate.edu, or you could call us in Student Affairs 270-809-6839. Again, we're available. We want to answer questions. We want to make sure you're prepared when you arrive on campus in the fall, and you're ready to get started. And then I will add, we have probably a lot of questions that we could not get to tonight, and then we will follow up and provide answers to you on those questions. And then with that, I want to thank you for joining us. Thank you for being part of this program, and again, we've enjoyed talking with you, and I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks as we get ready to start classes, and for many of you, starting on August 10th as you're moving into your residence hall. So again, thank you all for joining us, and have a good evening.